Motho tse meketse sebaka se ke go dumedisa ke bo ke go amogele thulaganyo ya Batenegi at Parliament ke bidwa OAGENG Batenegi aka Spana aka Spanito party ya Botswana Labour Party ke na le moeteledipele ya yone ha raitso Reverend Dr. Prince Moiseraele Dibeela ke ne gore na le mo thulaganyo ya tsatsi la gompieno le thulaganyo ya ntha ya Batenegi at Parliament re Dibeela meketse sebaka se ra ke go dumedisa ke bo ke go amogela ke le bogolo gore o retetse mo tsatsing la gompieno.
Ke a leboga. It's a great privilege for me, especially that this is your first show. Congratulations, and thank you for honoring me with me being your guest.
Yes, I was going to ask you how does it feel to be the first guest on the Batenegi television show? Yes, the Botswana Labour Party. You have not held any congress so far, am I correct?
No, you're not.
Okay. When did you hold the congress and how did it go? What year is this? 24. We held we were established in 22, and at the end of that year in December, we held our first congress at Lobatse Secondary School, and that's where I was elected president, and the current central committee was elected there. The vice president is a young lady in Tsabong, comrade Nana Moseki, and the general secretary is comrade Kakamatso Gibiditswe. Yeah, so we did hold our congress. Those who could have missed that particular congress, kindly take us through some of the resolutions. Yeah. The main resolutions that were taken at that particular congress.
I don't know how you missed that because it was covered fairly well in the media.
Yeah.
The main reason for the congress were two things really. One was to validate the leadership, to validate or elect a new leadership if that was necessary. But what happened was that the interim leadership was simply validated at that Congress. The second reason for the Congress was to take a decision on the fact that we had been invited to be part of the BCP-AP alliance at the time. So we had indicated our interest that we wanted to be part of that coalition talks, but they insisted that they needed a Congress resolution, which is why we met in Lobatse, and it was resolved that we should join those talks.
Are you trying to tell me that there were no elections at the BLP?
Well,
Congress?
they were
because what okay. Because when I'm listening to you very well, you're saying the interim leadership was validated.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you really held elections, as we may know the elections.
Maybe it's a matter of the way I'm languaging it. Obviously, we could not have a highly contested election like your older parties. I was the only candidate for president, so I was elected president.
Yes.
The same with all the other key positions, the executive positions. The lower positions, there were some, situations where you had 2-3 contestants, but it was done in a very convivial way, in a very give and take way. So yeah, we had we had an election, but an election doesn't mean that, there should be fighting over positions.
Ke a go tere Dibeela kore ke biswa se ke gore ko letswante go Botswana National Front le ingwa tsa dio tse ileng gore le ne le e ka re ne le sebete se molangwana thata ka tsone ke dikgantsa kuswa batho ka batho segolo bogolo mo teng ga party mo go teng ka segwa go bidio go tiki intra party democracy.
Yeah.
You are starting, your organization on, that same narrative in which you are
what would you have us do? Look for a president or presidential candidates to challenge the only one that was there?
No. What I'm trying to say is, it's an issue ya gore ka ngwa ka ha o ba ma go ka tengwa nna lo ena re ka harologana re Dibeela. You are saying the interim leadership was simply validated.
Yeah.
Kore ka mantswe a mongwe ba supilwe ka monwana
by the people. They were validated by the people, by the Congress, in a very open process that was agreed.
Yes.
So there were no qualms. There were no people who were saying, I wanted to be, a candidate and I was locked out, or my people were not given credentials. Yes. Like it's some of the things we were querying in our previous life.
Yes.
That you would have members of the party wanting to be part of the Congress, but they get closed out.
Yes.
We had none of that.
You say previous life. Obviously, you mean the Botswana National Front.
Yeah.
Let me appreciate the similarities and the differences, in your own opinion, between the PLP and the Botswana National Front. What would you say are the differences and similarities between the two parties?
Sometimes when we joke among ourselves, we say we are the real BNF.
Okay.
And the reason we say that is because we left the BNF. It was a very painful decision. I was born in the BNF. I grew up in the BNF. So it wasn't an easy decision to leave. But the chaos that was prevailing there made some of us to say, our integrity is on the line here. I have children. I have a public persona to bother about.
Yes.
I get la tswelela ke rogwa ke bana ba bangwe ba nkana ba bongwana ke. So we decided we're not going to have none of this. But we believe in the pamphlet number 1.
Yes.
We believe in the minimum program of the BNF. We believe in all the literature that have made what the BNF is.
Yeah.
And let me just say this, Batenegi, and we are not the only ones. I agree, the BLP, and by the way, we simply joined the party that left the BNF in 1989. It's probably the oldest of the parties that left. We simply renewed it.
Okay.
You are aware of that.
Yes.
The BCP left, but the BCP have contributed in a big way also to the BNF. I'm saying this because I believe that at some point, the people who left the BNF is not because they hate or disagree with the BNF. All of us have left the BNF because of the chaotic leadership that was there in 98, 99. That was there when we left. But we believe that at some point, the people who believe in revolutionary politics whether they be in the BCP, in the BLP, in the BNF, there will come a time when we will come together as a united front. So I have to be mindful even when I talk the BNF, although we were hurt, although we believe that the way it's run is not right, but it's still our historic home. And we are hoping that someday, you know, these three parties will be able to find each other.
So kama ntsama ngwe re Dibeela ka bile yena o tswa go front-a go yena o tlhaloganya dikgang tsa go front-a botoka kama ntswa re Botswana Labour Party is a temporary platform gona le khona go la gore le ka boela go Botswana National Front.
That's our hope. When the BNF was formed in 1965, it was formed around the idea of a united front. Remember, at that time there were there were three divisions within the People's Party, Khonali defection. So it really came in to try and bring those together, or to create a platform where they could find a home and be united. So yeah, my dream is that there will be a united front someday.
Ke batla re go pele tere ke batla re tswe mo ntheng ka gore ya kana ke bua ke batla gore ke go busetsa tata go morago me ha ke gore editse it's like you are reiterating that your main reason for leaving the Botswana National Front is the chaotic leadership. Chaotic leadership, who are you referring to in particular, Comrade Dumapoko?
Well, obviously, but that's not all. The chaos really began almost a generation earlier, when the BNF lost its culture of political education, when the BNF now simply became a crowd puller of people who are politically illiterate.
Yes.
So I wouldn't, even though I think the current leadership has contributed immensely, but the BNF, started really during the time of Rekoma in the late 80s, early 90s, when it stopped with the culture of educating people and conscientizing them about what politics of revolution is.
Yes.
Look, I think a lot of damage has been done. A lot of damage. The current generation of leaders in the regions, structure. I'm feeling a little. Yeah. Okay. No, sorry. Botswana National Front. That's one of the reasons we left. It wasn't chaos. We are not just talking about the individual. We are saying even the organization itself had become so chaotic. The structure. I agree, it's the regional structures, it's the constituency structures, it's the wards that must mobilize people, that must elect people to go to Congress.
Yes, you are stating that as a political opinion or effect.
I'm stating a fact. Remember, I was vice president of the BNF.
Yes, somebody will say that because
but on these issues, nothing else. When we meet today, we greet each other. We have nothing personal against each other, but we clearly differed on how a political party such as the BNF has to be run.
Yes. Dibeela, a re tswelle ko pele mme ha re tswela jana re le bona le party ntšha le Botswana Labour Party mme le siana go tsena mo bokopano le di-party tse dingwe motho ka ipotsa gore any particular reason why you rush to cooperate with other political parties? Were you not willing to maybe test the waters first, as a single entity, contest the elections as a single entity as the Botswana Labour Party, rather than rush ba go tsena ka hata sa ga di-party tse ding.
You are emphasizing the word rush.
Yes, because before you answer my question, Dibeela, because it is you who said Congress ya lona e ne le go lobatse nngwe ya dikgang tsa kono tse di teng go ke gore ne go ntse go na le kgang ya gore le ka dirisana le Botswana Congress Party ka jalo he nngwe ya dikgang tse e leng gore like ne le di bua gono go Congress ke gone dikgang tsa gore le ka dirisana di party tse dingwe mo especially Botswana Congress Party
le AP at the time.
Yes, but you mentioned the Botswana Congress Party.
No, and the AP, I also mentioned the AP.
Okay.
At the time, we had actually started participating in the talks. It was a three-way.
Before your Congress?
Before our Congress.
Okay.
Well, but this is the thing.
Yes.
Not only us, all the three entities agreed that they must go to congresses. So the BCP had to go to their Congress, we had to go to our Congress, the AP had to go to their Congress. So the talks, or the preliminary talks, said for these talks to continue, each of the entities must go to their people. And so that's why Ronarbe Realo Batse, Baba Ngobo Baya Kobane Bailete. So we were not rushing. We recognized that we were a new kid on the block. So to try and contest for this year's elections on our own would probably not be too wise. We would probably have to wait until 2029 before we are a formidable entity. So, you know, today there are different ways of political expression.
Yes.
And one of those is politics of coalition. So we saw that as an opportunity for us to use an existing brand like the BCP to work with them.
Yes.
And, you know,
you recognize that you're a new entity, and you couldn't, you know, go to the elections, alone. You're not strong enough as yet.
We could, but perhaps that wouldn't yield the same results as when we are in a coalition. Yeah. So yeah, we recognize that.
Botswana Labour Party, right? So Moiseraele, Dibeela ke ne gore ke buisana le ene mo tsatsing la gompieno thulaganyo ya Batenegi Parliament ke bidwa OAGENG Batenegi ra tswela le re Dibeela re tswelle me ga re tswella jana ra re ga kolle ha gore dipuisano tsa ntha ke a itse gore dipuisano tsa ntha no o bua ba Botswana Congress Party o bua ba Alliance for Progressives ra itse gore dipuisano tse ga dia tsamaya sente mo eleng gore ba Alliance for Progressives ba heletse ba le phuaganya go re ga kolle gore
Ghana in the politics of coalitions, there's always jostling for you know, who's stronger, who's more suitable for this constituency and so on. So we had that experience at the UDC. It was no different in these particular ones. There came a point where they were irreconcilable, at least in their perspective, disagreements between the AP and the BCP. And so the AP decided to bolt out. We tried at that time as the BLP to mediate between the two.
Yes.
But it didn't work.
What were those differences?
If I remember well, it was really constituencies, especially Gaborone Central. At least that's what the AP was saying. That they felt hard done by the BCP. We didn't think that those differences were insurmountable. But it's water under the bridge, really. They also made allegations that the BCP was recruiting some of their members. But as I say, We tried, it didn't work. It's now water under the bridge. Now we decided to go ahead with the BCP, and I dare say that I think we have something that is working for both of us.
Botswana Congress Party le Alliance for Progress go ka bana ne ba lwela diro tsa phologolo ise bolai.
Well, that's your language. I didn't say that. They, as I say, not that I dumela gore di pharologanyo tsene di le teng. Ha ne ba sa itlhaganela bogolo jang bone ba AP. Re ka borne ra khona go batlisa gore ba utlwana.
But you are the one who is saying they were complaining, they were making allegations that the Botswana Congress Party was recruiting some of their members.
True.
Karialo. Yes. Go mo ke lone le baka le leng gore le ne le ba khupisa le go heta gore re ha re buisana le batho mme bona ba tsene ko ga rona they are causing, chaos and divisions. Don't you think that could have been, a reason valid enough for?
It's an allegation. It's an allegation. Look, loli di party tse di harologaneng ga lo ka ke lwa tlhoka go gatana direthe ga lo ka ke lwa tlhoka go kubetsana.
But ke go tsena ga Dibeela go tsena garo. Do you think it's an honorable thing? I'm not saying what he said about the Botswana Congress Party is true. I was not there. But do you think it's the honorable thing? Gore kare le ha le buisana go gore le ka dirisana mo ditopong yo mongwe na bantsa tsenela go gago.
Of course.
Is it a honorable thing?
Of course not.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's an allegation.
Yeah.
That has not been tested to be so. So I don't think it's really a matter for discussion. Nna ke go bolela
le ipese ba ka lona le BLP go thothomisa gore gone mme ba ga rona ke ba rena le bone mme ba kuibetsana gore yo mongwe ke o thodimetse ka go yo mongwe ba ta go mo gopela.
O bona rona le BCP ga se gore ga rena di challenges. Rena le di challenges ra ne re kubetsana ra ne re fila exactly that way le bone ba fila that way ka rona. Me ha lu rile re batla go nna magata mmogo re tlhakanela mosepele. It's not a child's play. You are not going to bolt out at the first hurdle that you meet. So Ronane Rale so o comedy wa ha ile gore
is possible.
O comedy wa ha ile gore ga o khone go ikakanyetsa. So Rona, we are not afraid at all gore re ka comedy nako e leng gore re tsa tshwetso ya go kopana re nna so se le sengwe hela we will do so, but at this point re decide ile gore nya we are we are a party, we are going into coalition talks with another party, and the memorandum of agreement wa rialo between us and the BCP.
Moruti Reverend Dr. Prince,
my brother,
Dibeela ta utena wa Botswana Labour Party ke no gore ke buisana le ene mo tsatsing la gompieno thulaganyo ya Batenegi at Parliament o ka re thola jalo mo Facebook page ya rona nako tse tsotlhe thulaganyo o tebe o ya mogala ka thamalalo go simela kana go ile ya bosupa kwa bona go nyele ya boroba bobedi tabe ke tswella le re Dibeela ga re wa ka. ga le gore ke gone o inakanyane le thulaganyo ya rona me ke tse sebaka se ke go amogele o setse o lathegetswe ke sephato sa thulaganyo mme o santse go setse sephato se sengwe you are privileged to be here today watching the first ever episode of the Batenegi at Parliament talk show ke video wa geng Batenegi mme jaaka ke tlhalositse ha ke la ditse jalo moetedipele wa party ya Botswana Labour Party Reverend Dr. Moiseraele Prince Dibeela a re tswela ka thulaganyo ya rona mme ke batla gore re tswela yana rra tsenya ha mo dipuisanyong ha ba sona ba Alliance for Progressive ba liphuaganya ka tsene ba dingongwaregela dipuisanyo di tsamaya ha ka reso
that was around say May last year. Haba AP ba from the talks. Ronane ra sala. The main things were really go khaogana di constituency. Gore ba BCP ba tla ema hakae ba BLP ba tla ema hakae. Which was done in the most amicable way. Ba bangwe ne ntse ba re ga ba utlwe sepe ka gore ba tloetse gore these are contentious issues but ne re dira ka neelano and so that process was completed around September last year. Yeah, so and then as you might be aware, towards the end of the year we signed a memorandum of agreement go what do you call that? Go Cresta Hotel. Yeah, so now we are the BCP Alliance, which is what we are called, is in the process of campaigning. We are the only entity at the moment that's not struggling Cabo the primary elections because we dealt with that before end of last year.
Yes.
So we are launching our candidates. The first one to be launched was May Unity Dao, Korasesa, and I'll be launched in May. So yeah, we are in motion. Yes. And things are happening.
How we get out of the 61 constituencies that are available, how many did you get as the BLP? We got initially we were given 20. Okay.
We were given 20 constituencies.
Okay.
Again, looking at our capacity, that's what we settled for. But then we also agreed between the parties that we will try and field our candidates by, if I remember well, by end of October. Where any party is struggling to find a suitable candidate after the end of October, the leadership of the two parties, by the way, we meet regularly, we meet monthly as the leadership of the BLP and the BCP and the conveners, which is a very important entity.
Yes.
So we meet monthly. So when we recognized that there were areas where neither the BLP nor the BCP were, able to field, we simply came together and tried to do that. Really more.
Yes.
BCP, BLP.
So you are satisfied with the 20 constituencies that you have been you have been given?
Yeah. We in fact, I think we could have been given more if we asked for more, but we settled for that because that's what we thought we could manage.
Yes. The manifesto. How far are you? As the alliance, the BCP alliance, as you call it?
Yeah, so the manifesto is nearly complete. we have a team that's working on the manifesto. In fact, the draft
You
manifesto.
started launching candidates. The manifesto is not yet completed.
Yeah, no.
do you think? Don't you think that's awkward?
Is it?
Politically awkward?
Is it?
Don't you think so?
No, I think whatever we are able to achieve at this point, we will do it. Let's wait. Let's wait.
Yes.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Let's wait. Where have you seen?
You're saying you've already launched Madao.
Yeah.
You started, launching candidates.
Yeah.
The manifesto has not yet been completed.
Yeah.
Completed.
I hear.
Manifesto. I appreciate it's work in progress, but you have not completed it. Traditionally, somebody would have thought that you will complete the manifesto first, and then you will launch the candidates.
Traditionally, have you seen that? That's not always the case.
But most of the time, that is what I've seen happening.
Yeah, but that's.
But don't you think it's a politically sensible thing to do?
What do we
complete the manifesto? Dibeela.
So Mahela in the meantime.
No. What I'm saying is, don't you think it's politically sensible, to complete your manifesto first?
Let me tell you this, Batenegi, which I think was wisdom. What we did was that by December we had completed the manifesto framework, the 10 points that define our manifesto. But we decided that we are not going to rush to, because it's, as I say, it's almost complete. The draft is complete. But we decided that we are not going to launch it because we want to engage with the public and get feedback, so that by the time we launch it, it is actually something we are proud that it's not just something that was engineered by the BCP Alliance.
Yes.
I mean, recently we had the President, Dibeela Salesando, talk about the chapter that deals with the economy. We were meeting more phase 2.
Yeah.
By the way, I was born there, even though so this is deliberate. We didn't want to rush this, as I say, because we are getting valuable feedback from the youth, from the unemployed hustlers, and so on. So bontsi jwa batho ba tlo ba kwala manifesto, sometimes ibile ba o kwalwa ke batho ba bo UB and so on, bo ba go launch.
I think let's for now agree to disagree.
Okay.
I thought it will be politically sensible to complete the manifesto first. Then when you go out there launching the candidates, you say, look, top 100 Dibeela as the BCP Alliance. But let's agree to disagree on that particular point. But are you in a position to possibly take us through some of the main synopsis within that manifesto? You're saying it's almost complete. My take is that some of the main issues are already there in the draft, as you put it. I almost say BCP Alliance.
The bit I like, as I say, the framework is 10 points. The bit I want to speak to is about job creation, because we believe that the economy of this country is in turmoil, and we are getting to a dangerous situation where young people are, the unemployment levels are just really scary. And that's why Renali graduates, Baba Jambo Nyaope, graduates who are in the streets, Masiho, Batlasela Batu. So one of the key points of the manifesto is the commitment to create 300,000 jobs in the 5 years that the BCP alliance would be in power from 2024 to 2029. And many people would say, how do you do that? The BCP some years ago came up with the idea, Ebaring, bring back our jobs. And so we have developed that concept to say, as a country, we are doing ourselves a disservice because we have become a country simply of raw resources that we export. Let's start with, khomo hela ya khomo. We export the beef, but we are saying that we can create a series of industries around that commodity. Ditlhako tse nna le wena re di rweleng gompieno can be done as a part of that.
Yeah.
You can name many other things, such as marapo a khomo can be used for ditalama and all sorts of things. So we are saying that a BCP alliance
will create
300,000 jobs at least in the 5 years.
Because also so has a Motswana or a top BCP alliance.
Ke se re se solohetsa Motswana.
300,000.
Ke se re se solohetsa Motswana. And as I say, ke ne ke bua ka khomo. Ditemane tsa rona, you and I know that they more beneficiate people in other countries than ourselves.
Yes.
Khomo, temane, letswai. We export the soda ash. Can you imagine just how many jobs we could create from these industries? The tourism sector. How Ulebako, you and I were talking before this show, how you were Kobo Mohembo and so on. When you look at that area, you will find that it is mostly the foreigners who own those companies.
Yes.
So Rona, really BCP Alliance, we are saying that we will be able, through these industries, to be able to not only create 300,000 jobs, but to also decentralize them. Because khomo ga se so sa ga borona. Khomo ke so sa ko tsabong sa ko gantsi jalo. So,
do you think Dibeela, this is a reality what you're saying? 2019, the Umbrella for Democratic Change, which you were part of, was saying 100,000 jobs. Do you think this is a reality?
Isn't that sad?
Because I want you to get into other, points within that.
But this is our main point. But it makes me very sad that you and others would doubt our capacity as a country. Because that's how it sounds to me.
I want you to get me very clearly. I'm not doubting. I'm saying what you are saying and putting it against the background. The Umbrella for Democratic Change, which you were part of. Bangobane ba hakamel barahaba ka tsa puso baka direct through 100,000. Se ke le ka go se bua ke gore don't you anticipate that same narrative in which people are batola hakamel or lona yanong le setse yanong le bata go bata dithopo hela ka go re soletsa magodimo.
No, na ga ke dumele gore re solohetsa Batswana magodimo ebile nna ha re tsamaya re ira house to house re bua dikgantse batho ba bona gore this is feasible.
Yes,
this is possible. This just requires a leadership that is not self-serving.
Yes,
Jaka gompieno re eteletswe pele ke batho ba ileng gore go itibile bone normally batla ka mananeo ya ka ntse utlwa tautona tsa mantsa re mananeo batla ka mananeo ka nako ya ditlhopho but we are saying that we are going to provide a strong leadership under Dibeela Saleshando that will put people first.
Yes, apart from job creation, siana le ntha tse dingwe ka boheho tse leng gore go ka tswa di gakologola di le mo manifestong o sa tsene mo go tsone ka botalo ka gore ne ke batla gore re gona le ntha tse dingwe tse ke batla gore siane le go
okay. So the other one that I remember ke gone gore we believe that we have to create how do you call it? We have a serious problem here, unemployment, but people who have lost their jobs. And one of the things that the manifesto is suggesting is that we should have an unemployment grant. That's one. We should also have a means-tested allowance for child allowance. So these are things to show that we are a caring government. We also agree with what our erstwhile friends were saying in 2019, that we think that our economy can afford old age pension, 1.5. And so we have that also in our manifesto. So these are some of them that I can remember.
Arna mere tshwere go ka re ha ke go lebile you struggling to put out those points, possibly ke gona gore ngwe ya ka ne re bua the manifesto is not yet complete. Arna mere tshwere tata ke le ha sebaka as the PCP alliance re ntse re tsweletse le thulaganyo gore le ka phuthulla manifesto a lona ga mmogo le di party tse dingwe ne ke batla re tsena ha re Dibeela. I've seen your posters around.
I'm glad
I'm
visible somewhere.
I'll not say how I saw them, but I saw some posters suggesting that you are standing in Bonington North.
It's interesting you should put it that way. I live in Gaborone.
I'm asking.
I live in Gaborone now. I relocated from. I used to live in Kanye, but for family reasons and other personal things, I may not disclose here. My family moved to Gaborone, and so when this process started, I was invited, challenged to consider Gaborone, Bonington North, and I accepted.
No, okay.
Until I moved here in 2020. So, and as I say, there were good reasons for my family to relocate here.
Yes.
But all along,
yes. I'm not saying you should campaign, but I'm very curious to know.
Of course, I should campaign. What do you mean?
I'm just curious to know. Must be that you moved from one constituency to the other, because we can agree. Well, rabatho ba bangwe hela mme mathokegwa batho ba go gae gongwa ga ka tshwana le mo toropong. I'm so curious to know.
And by the way, you know that constituency doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, no, I know.
It was cut into three.
Demarcation of constituencies, but I'm very curious to appreciate and understand what tshwaretse batho ba
Bonington North.
Yes.
Bonington North ke phase 2. Block 3, Block 6, Block 7, and Block 8. And there are really many social problems in the constituency. One is just the crime that is unbearable. In the street where I live, ke gone ha go bolailweng batho ba le 10 the other year, and it's the same street a month ago, the same type of violence. So as a member of parliament, crime and house break-ins, those are the issues that I want to prioritize and work with the communities, with the councillors, with the VDCs, to make sure that we avert the level of crime, especially more phase 2, but in all of them really. That's the first thing. The second thing is the level of unemployment. It's intolerable, really. Many young people, how to block 80 ba kopa ba re heng these open spaces re tlhatswetse batho ditlhako mo go tsone and so on. And the current representatives are not accessible to them, to listen to them and to see how they can create self-employment if there are no companies to employ them. So the issue of unemployment is high on our agenda as the BCP Alliance. Me gape ba bangwe ha ba re boka re le Bonington North, Gaborone Bonington North, ba bua gore re constituency ya di suburb. But you will be surprised at the poor infrastructure. There is just go di thole go block 6 ga ke bui ha gona just internal roads. And so my councillors, my team of councillors are under instruction to say these are our priority issues. Ha gona dipone, ha gona sanitation, matlakala a selwa a tsewa in a very irregular way. Ba bangwe ba leka ba itsela ba go latla mme a functional city suburbs should not work that way. Mo gongwe mo ileng gore re tebaganya le gone thata ke gone gore ha pulanyana e kana hela wena motho ga Batenegi pulanyana hela e senya sepe go nna melapo go block 3 in all of them because there is just no drainage system. A ke tsore Gaborone re dirile ja.
Yes.
So Rona, these are the issues that we commit ourselves to.
Yes.
And
health, education, very quickly.
Yeah.
The issues of health and education.
So
what can you say about them? In respect to Gaborone Bonington North.
So our national manifesto in Ribuakayon addresses those issues. We want an education system that leads to sustainability, that leads to food on the table, not degrees that you put on the wall, but you remain unemployed. So we believe in education for production, and we believe that when Dibeela Nsaleshando becomes president and we become part of his leadership cohort, these are issues that we need. One of the things we really need to do is to change the education system.
Yes. Yes, very quickly.
One of the painful things, bo setu ba ntse ba bua le other unions ke gore ga gona extracurricular activities go dikweleng. Go na le hela go bapolana between dikwele le government. Rona, we believe that extracurricular activities must be returned to schools and they must be under dikwele, not under some other ministry, because that's how we get Bo Litsile and these young people that are doing so as proud internationally.
Right. Tautena wa Botswana Labour Party, Dr. Reverend Moiseraele Prince Dibeela ke no originale ne motsatsile ya gompieno thulaganyo ya Batenegi at Parliament le thulaganyo ya nthanta re to gare wetsa thulaganyo ya rona mme pele gare wetsa thulaganyo re Dibeela mme ke go botsega all party conference. What's your take? Have you already participated in the all-party conference, and what is your take so far?
We had the first all-party conference in 5 years. The last one was in 2019, I'm told, but we had one last month, convened and chaired by Honorable Kabo Moiseraele. It was a good conversation. We emphasized to him that you know, this should be regularized. We should not be meeting once every 5 years when he wants to.
I mean, ale mosola go akalona.
E ka nna le mosola. Le ena le mosola ha re ya kopele ha ile gore ba ga domokraga ba ka etsa tsia. Because as I say, the engagement was good. Yes. Some of the things we discussed was the political party funding. You know, we had debates about that. Because Baga Domkraga Nebare who dirisiwe the 2019 results. Yes. Ronare Renya, all the parties, political parties, must have some kind of share in this, because really the opposition parties political party funding, because we want to protect this country, yes, from illicit funds that come from outside.
State party political funding, trying to appreciate Labour Party le bona yang. Me bangwe ba tebare well a very good initiative. Me ano ha re tsamaya ka one mondlu o buang ore you know, party tsotlhe hela di tshwanetse di bone seng. How do you respond to this perception ya gore, well, whether perception or reality, but ya gore di party ta runya le dintsi ya mongwe le mongwe gore ke o batla le hore.
And it's possible, you know, so it's not an unfounded perception. Yeah. So we have to develop rules and guidelines that will circumvent that. But the danger of political party funding ke gore ya no be ikgagapelwa ke batho ke the ruling party le maybe the main opposition party hela. So Rona, as the Botswana Labour Party, we have actually, because you know, Rekabo Moiseraele became gracious, and I take my hat out to him, because he saw that the matter is a little more complicated than just what the that commission were saying. So he then said to all the parties, write your submissions, your position papers. So the Labour Party has submitted, and I think maybe other parties have also done that. Yes. The idea, even the BDP was agreeable that the Dibeela model would not really work, because
state party political funding well, pele ga le nna ha se a lona le kile la thudimela go mahatsheng a mongwe gore ka gore so se leng gore since dira go mahatsheng a mongwe wena ba dira ka tsela ntsenya. But my last question to you, the elections, according to you, how do you look at the elections? Are they going to be free and fair?
So yes, we did look at other countries. Yes. We did look at the South African model, the British model. Yeah, we looked at other countries.
Yes, the elections. Are they going to be free and fair?
The elections, we are worried by the registration process. Tota at this time, ka ha go ikwadisiwang ditlhopho ka teng go ko morago rago thata mo go kwalwang ka pensele mo e leng gore maitsibo a ga o show the go radio tse di tlhokomelesegile ka ba ka o lengwe ba rona ba ne ba bua ha ba ya ko court. We think that one of the things tsa all party conference is to deliberate on ikwadisetso ditlhopho ga ere he boitumelo jwa gore a di tla nna free and fair. But we are doing our best. Re kwadisa batho, re rotloetsa batho. It's very hard.
Le ganne machine ke re go kile ga tutu ka machine.
Ha gona transparency. Ha gona transparency. Kana ditlhopho is a very sensitive thing. So ne re raba IEC because they came to the all-party conference. Adilo tse re di direrele mmogo re buisanye because we are all stakeholders. Yano mo go irwang go.
Is that Moiseraele Dibeela? The recent trip in a twisa muduma maloba. Gote bangwe ba IEC ba ile re le sala Botswana ba ile go Zimbabwe ke tsore maikutu a go. Ile ne kganya go ya bohelo ra misuzo setse.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And we said this to the IEC leadership. The sad thing is that they don't think that there was anything wrong with that. Gore ba yo ituta from a country that is known for, rigging elections.
Yeah, but Barabone ne ba ile go lebella accreditation ya di observer like it's do you buy that?
No, definitely not.
No. O dumela gore ne ba ile go ire.
Na re dumela gore ba lemoga gore go a tsediwa ko Zimbabwe. Even you'll remember after that they sent a clip around the late Vice President, what was his name, who was saying, the elections go Zimbabwe are a shamble. Remirafi. So we ourselves have condemned those elections. Yes.
Moiseraele Dibeela ke tse se ba ka serra
go na le mahatsa kana ka
Moiseraele Dibeela me ke tse se ba ka serra ke go le gore o bonile
thank you very much
moengwami wa ntha mo thulaganyong ya Batenegi at parliament ke re ke tse se ba ka serra ke le tse masego le mathogono le ba le kopaneng le bone ke re modimo go retso
o re tlutlile thata. May this program grow.
Indeed. Ine le jalo moruti Dr. Prince Moiseraele Dibeela ke ne le gore ne re moladitse mo tsatsing la gompieno ele tautwana wa party ele ya Botswana Labour Party wa gore ba kopane jalo le ba Botswana Congress Party go le ba le thulaganyo ile gore ba taya go dithopong ba le mmogo re tumela gore be ne re moladitse ke tsore ke monna modimo dumela gore ne ile gone ja ka re se go hatsa thulaganyo ya rona e leng gore e tabe e ta go go wena la bobedi mongwe le mongwe go simela kana kwele ya bosupa o thela kana kwele ya boroba bobedi ke video wa geng Batenegi at Parliament is our Facebook page, YouTube channel Batenegi at Parliament kere ba gaetso a ne boroko.